The program is offered in English, but also in inuktitut. Some of the course content, the subjects that we have are named, such as Inuit government relations, the James Bay Northern Quebec Agreement, but we also have courses in inuktitut language. This is the first cohort that we had. We launched the program in August 2017, so we're still in our inaugural year. We had 19 students start the program, and our retention is high so far, so we're very happy with that. Our students range in age between 18 and somewhere in the mid-30s, so we have a good range of students. I believe NS, as we call Nunavik Sivunitsavut, is an example of excellence because we can guide students more interactively, more in real time when they're in this program. Before this program, our experience in bringing students to Southern institutions was that we sent them to whatever program they wanted with the general population, and that's good, we should offer that. But we found that sometimes if we weren't there to see when students were having trouble, when students were not socializing with each other or were not adjusting well to the city, people would find it hard and go home. So I think a big advantage of this type of program is to follow students and to go through the journey of the year with them, because it's our staff, people from Nunavik who are part of the teaching faculty, who are also part of the full-time staff here. We have a range of services. We offer tutoring. We also offer a social worker from Kativik Ilisarniliriniq to come and visit twice a week to make sure that, to monitor if things are going well on the social and emotional side of students. So we do that. We also have a student life animator whose job is to plan activities every now and then, and he's also in charge of more of the cultural activities where if our students are asked to perform at a function or an event in the city, he's our contact person to make that happen so that our students can get involved in the city or different events in the region. Most of our students are from Nunavik. They're moving from Nunavik down south. There is a small handful who have lived in Montreal already. How we measure success is a really good question, because as a school board, we're used to paying a lot of attention to grades, to academic performance. I think this program gives us the opportunity to measure success from an engagement perspective. And I think that's part of why we're having good success with retention, why a lot of our students are still here. It's because we're there with them when they have a hard time, when they're missing home, when there's issues going on in their lives. Our staff can step in real time and try to help the students solve the issue or to sit with them during that uncertainty. We're not always able to do that with our students who go off on their own, but with this cohort, we're able to do that. So I think the key word for success is engagement. And that's hard to measure. You can't really measure it quantitatively, but it counts. Our Department of Post-Secondary Student Services does the preparation for lodging. So the majority of our students here are housed at a student residence built for Montreal students in general. Montreal students who go to university, to cégep, to vocational schools in the downtown area. There is 2 different residences that are available for anyone who's studying, and we put our students in those residences.
Are they residences for Inuit students or for general public?
We place them in residences that are for the general public. Academic engagement for our students means that they're learning about subjects that they've heard vaguely about, but they didn't get into detail when they were in high school. I think the atmosphere here allows us to study things like residential schools, the dog slaughter, current affairs in terms of Inuit government relations, but also our history with Quebec and Canada as viewed through the James Bay Northern Quebec Agreement. A lot of our students have heard about these, but they don't know more of the structure inside them. So here they get to study what it means and how it affects them today, how it affects their services in their region. And what's nice is that a lot of our students come from 14 different villages. And they come together here as a very strong group of students who have graduated high school and can talk about these at a point when they're entering their young adulthood, where their minds are developing, their sense of activism is also developing, and their engagement, hopefully, we know is becoming more intense, particularly at this phase of their lives. I would say the difference in Indigenous education is that it's more experiential based. There is less of an emphasis on rote memory or theories or massive amounts of reading books and massive amounts of writing. It's more experiential. As an example, one example that we have of that is we get our students to do performances like throat singing and drum dancing, and we also teach them to speak in public so that they conquer their fear of public speaking, but also build their self-esteem. So those are the things that are quite hard to measure, but they're visible when you start the program and then you see the students' development over the year. What I wish to see in Indigenous education at the post-secondary level is for programs like this to be more permanently funded so that they continue and so that we're not always scrambling to make it happen. We'd like for these things to be better supported by governments, both at the national and the provincial level. That's one thing. I'd also like to see more engagement from within our communities. We have a decent amount of students. We'd like to see more demand, and when people come to these programs, the dream is to have better success rates, and I use that word success, but better engagement, so that people, I think a word I would like to use is completion rate. This program is designed to be a full year. Our goal is to get you through that. Whether you have amazing grades or not, I think, it's good to have that, but I would like to see people go commit to the project, people I mean students, and complete it with a good rate of completion. I think the dream from our region's standpoint is to have our own institution up north. That is still a few years away, but I think it's there. The dream is present. So with the population we have, it might be too much to ask at this point for a university, but I don't think it's too much to ask for a college. So 10 years down the road, I hope that we're in a better position to make that happen, to make that a reality. What we need to achieve our vision over the next 10 or 20 years in post-secondary education, post-secondary Inuit education, is to find instructors who are either Inuit or who know and who have studied very thoroughly Inuit culture and practices. If you'd allow me to just brainstorm, if we believe in this train of thought of Inuit education and traditional knowledge, it would be great to be able to have courses on hunting and fishing and sewing. And even though some people might think the theory behind those theorizing might be a Western idea, it would be great to have Inuit instructors present those topics with kind of a theoretical background so that we can talk about it in a class and then go out and practice it. So I think a big part of the next 10, 20 years in reestablishing quality Inuit education would be to find instructors who are willing to step up and to teach those courses.
And what do we need to get to that point? Like, what do we need to get more Inuit teachers and instructors? What's missing? How come there's so few?
I don't know.
Well, like, would collaboration between, like, for example, elementary school, like, because it's a continuum. If doesn't start, like, if they're well, it's again about funding as well, but could the passerelle, could the bridge be eased in some way to help perseverance and well, if there's no answer,
I know maybe sometimes also it's recognizing that there are other paths to become an educator. Like there are different, like there are people that, like Evie Mark is a good example. Like the people who are teaching, they're not necessarily accredited teachers, but they do have the right level of expertise and knowledge. They understand pedagogy. They good, you know. So to, like, when we talk about the government, it's of course from funding, but that's
that would be a good.
But the model proposed, we are proposing in the stuff we do at the school board here, but also like at the regular sector is not. It doesn't fit within the square that. And that's a huge issue often.
I think
beyond funding.
The profession of teaching has been very clearly and narrowly defined, and I think we need to look at teaching from a more holistic perspective, where we bring in people from the Inuit culture or from whatever culture, indigenous culture, and say this person has something to give. They have knowledge and expertise and years of experience in it. How do we bring them in and get them to teach and support them while they're teaching? So I think that could solve the issue. In short, we need to widen our definition of what teaching is.
Great, perfect. That's perfect. So, do you have anything to add, or because we're done with the questions? So I don't know if there's something else you wanted to say about the program, but that for me it's perfect.
No, I think that's all.
I think that's good.
You did a very good job. Like, you're really focused and concise. Like, and great.
I'm impressed.
Yeah.